Okay, fellas, in slickness and in health here with another video where we comment on a Reddit post. And this one actually is rather interesting because we are going to see, let's say, one specific aspect of the relationships between uh, men and women, mainly the raging fights. I mean, I've been in that a lot in my life. I'm sure that you guys the same. So anyway, let's move on and see that. So my 41 female husband, 42 male, is turning 43 on Monday. We've always been pretty bad at fighting. By that I mean that our fights are usually quite emotional, drag on, and never seem to be resolved. Now, okay, just from the get-go, guys, let's actually talk about this. When you fight, when you do something in life which is unpleasant, the best way that you can, let's say, not cope with that, the best way that you can treat this whole, you know scenario of having to live to experience bad situations is to get something good out of that. So the point is that if you do get into fights just for getting into fights without actually getting anything good out of that, then you, let's say, have a problem. So from the get go, here the problem is that you have a couple getting into fights without going nowhere, because like a fight that gets really emotional and drags on and never seem to be resolved, by definition, is a failed fight. It's a fight that shouldn't take place, because you can have fights in a couple. I would recommend that you don't, but in any case, you don't really choose it. Even though I will talk about this today. Um, so you can have fights, but the fights should be constructive. And surprising as it might be, fights can be constructive. Okay, and they should be constructive. If you just fight for the fights, and if you keep on engaging into new fights, um, then you have a problem. And all of the, I don't know, like the relationship experts or the marriage counselors or something, they would say that, okay, well, the marriage counselors, I'm not sure, but the relationship advice channels on YouTube and all that, they would say that you have to ditch the wife, or you have to ditch the person, for that matter. um, Even though I could incline towards there, I think that you can have some more um, uh, choices before resorting to that. So the thing is that when you go to fight, you must put yourself in a constructive fight, which is that get something out of that will help you resolve the problems that you have with your partner, if you need to have a partner, that is. Or else, yeah, it's better to sometimes not have one. But before you get to that point, you should have constructive fights. Okay, you should change something. When you have a fight, see the problems that exist within that fight, okay, and the problems that existed before that fight, and see how these things will teach you, both of you, something that you will not repeat in the next fights. If you just fight just to get worn off, just to not have, like, no any conclusion out of out of all that, well, then that doesn't really help anyone, does it? Anyway, I will get more specific, giving examples about this specific fight. But anyway, let's move on here. So this morning we had a fight that was simply terrible because I brought up that I didn't like that one of his female friends. That one of his female friends, I'm sorry, was a little too friendly with him when we were at a concert last night. He wound up literally pushing her away and telling her to back off, but by that point I was already pretty uncomfortable. Whatever. It wasn't really his fault. At least here she admits that. That's good. Let's see if she actually respected that and if she actually did something about that or not. Well, spoiler, I've read the post before, so I know if she did something or not. And anyway, I tried expressing my anger about the whole thing in a constructive way, but it all went tits up and we had a massive fight. Okay, you have to see how you express yourself. Okay, now, okay, I'm not going to get too much into that, but don't express yourself in a very offensive way. Don't just don't go all out, like telling to other people that it's all their fault and all this. And I understand how difficult this is because me myself, when they make me angry, I just don't tell them that you made me angry, dude, because of that. And that is the problem. You did something that made me angry, so I hope that you wouldn't do this, or we should try and see what bothers me, and discuss this. I mean, that would be a very nice and down to earth approach, but I understand that it's very difficult to do. Anyway, he wound up not going to his birthday dinner. He later went for a few hours, and we canceled his birthday plans with his family for tomorrow. His actual birthday is on Monday, and we both have the day off. So I feel like the absolute garbage. I think the fight was both of our faults. Really, really, is it? Anyway, we both just got so charged, and it became a 3-hour soap opera with me crying wildly and him shaking with rage. Okay, guys, so again, what I'm gonna say here is that as a guy, I've been into fights with women where you actually this is magical. This is really magical. Actually, as a guy, that happens a lot, especially if you really care for that woman, or for your friends or for your relatives. If you really care, you invest in this relationship, and that means that all of your reactions are multiplied. Like if you would, like, if I saw like a person in the street and he told me something that I would consider bad, let's say, and he enraged me, I would get enraged, like I would get angry like 5%. But if I am with my girlfriend, for example, with a good friend of mine that I really care for, I'm going to get like 200% enraged. Okay, so we have we have to actually you have to control these things, and this is because as a man you cannot really expect from a woman to control her emotions, because women are really emotional creatures. Not that we are not emotional, but let me say that you cannot expect from a woman to control her emotions if you cannot control yours. And again, from the beginning, I'm going to say that by definition, you shouldn't even be interested in that. What you should be interested in is control your emotions and be a rock. Men are rocks, and they should be like that. A man should not easily be swayed, should not easily be, um, affected by things that the other people will say around them. You can answer to them, but you have to keep your cool, okay? In situations where you see that the other person, or you predict that the other person will get out of control, my advice, which when I do it myself, it has amazing results. So my advice is to just walk away, give them like the hand to talk to. Okay, just go away and have some time pass. I don't know, like 15 minutes, usually 20 minutes, half an hour, not even more than that normally. Okay, so if you're in a house with your girlfriend, with your wife or something, don't just don't talk to them. Tell them that you both have to relax and all that, and just let them be. And you will see that at least when you go back to talk to them, you will be able to, deal with the matter in a more, I don't know, relaxed approach. And you need to be relaxed. You need to be relaxed, because if you're not relaxed, you have all this situation over here. Like, fighting, even sometimes you could even have like violence, and not only from your part but from the women's part, and this is equally bad actually. Okay, so there shouldn't be violence, obviously, And there should be like cool-headedness. But when you know a a fight starts to rage, like at the beginning, it's very difficult to control yourself. And again, I'm telling you that as a guy, you shouldn't even be interested in the possibility of the woman controlling herself. What you should do, as I've said in a previous video, is you should be able to control the things that you can control. That you can, and at that point, the things that you can directly control. Okay, so a thing that you can directly control is your cool headedness and your state of mind. So just control that. And if you cannot control this, just don't react. Just go away for a little while. Okay? Give time to the other person to relax. And then come back and discuss the situation. Nevertheless, these situations, as I say right now, needs to be discussed. You just cannot, like, as the guys do here, you just cannot drag on, or again, you just cannot ditch, the problem, ditch the fight, and then think that the next time this will not happen. It will actually happen the next time as well. Anyway, let's move on. Where were we were here. I came home after going shopping for a present for him for his birthday, I know, and was packing my bags to go to a hotel, but it started raining like crazy, and it just felt like I was so exhausted and couldn't deal with checking into a hotel at 1 a.m. Okay, like some details here. Anyways, here we are. All plans cancelled for the weekend. Fight seems to have finally died out, but I'm so filled with shame and regret. I feel like I ruined everything, even though I would say that we both had an equal hand in the fight, but okay. Is there anything I can do? She asks for advice here. Just pay some attention on this, okay? I am so filled with shame and regret. I feel like I ruined everything, even though I would say that, okay, we both participated in the fight. Okay, what do you have here? You have a woman, okay, that retrospectively she admits that she ruined everything. She admits that she was responsible for all of that. She kind of admits that she started all this herself. And yet she didn't really do anything for the fight not to break out. And I'm not sure if she did anything for the fight to wind down. Because what she says here is that she just wanted to go to a hotel, at 1 a.m. This is not necessarily a solution. Okay, but anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Don't expect from a woman to control the conversation. Don't expect from a woman to just find her cool headedness when she seems to be crazy and like she has havoc like all around her and all that. Anyway, so can you explain what happened? It says here, um, another user. She and here she shares some more context here. So we were at a concert, and in between bands, went to look at an art exhibition in the same space. He left to go to the bathroom. I stayed there and waited for him to come back for a long time, but he was at a table talking to the girl and her boyfriend, his friend. The second band went on, and they showed no signs of wanting to go in. The two of them were in some huge conversation. I finally went in. He didn't follow me. I came back out to get him. He seemed distracted, agitated, not paying attention to the music. Later, the girl and her boyfriend come in. She's very drunk and briefly cuddling on him while talking to him. Then a few minutes later, she notices her bra strap is breaking. She looks at us and shows us. I was like, oh dear, you're about to have some problems. She gets closer to my husband, insistently trying to show him her broken bra that wasn't doing anything, anyways, to be honest. And he pushes her back gently and says, I'm about to have some problems. So, okay, whatever. People get drunk and stupid. She's a loose cannon. I don't really think we should be hanging around here much. People have warned my husband about her too. They're known each other for a while. She's a bartender and has a drug problem. He hangs out at her bar. Okay, nothing is going on between them. The fight launched into the stratosphere because I actually wanted to say that it is very weird that her boyfriend was with her, so he didn't have any say of that, like on that, like any participation whatsoever. I really don't know. Anyway, anyway, you should choose your girlfriend. So that's for sure. So that's the only thing I'm saying here, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Maybe maybe we're gonna comment on that on another video. Anyway, the fight launched in the stratosphere because I started the conversation by asking what he would do if a guy was hanging all over me. Okay, and here we can see some issues that the girl, that the lady here has, and obviously when you have these kinds of fights, these fights break out of several issues that one or the other person might have, and let me tell you, obviously, there's not only girls here that have issues. Okay, we guys have them as well, and it's understandable. But the problem is what you do with these things. Anyway, he immediately said that that wouldn't happen. Guys don't act like that, or something to that effect. And the fight just took off from there. Okay, let me correct you, sir. Over here, guys really do that. Like, really do that. Guys really go and hit on other chicks, and they can even do it in front of their boyfriends, actually. Um, it hasn't really happened to me, even though I can understand how people, like if I have a girlfriend, how people can watch them and and all that. But let me tell you, let me tell you that guys go and hit on chicks all the time, even if they see that she's your girlfriend, and especially if she's exceptionally, beautiful, okay, and sexy and all that. But anyway, so that's the thing. The reason why the fight started was that actually she was actually pushing him. This is what I understand from all the context. If you guys understand something different, please let me know here. So the thing is that she said that what would happen if a guy was hanging over her and all that. Okay, down below the other users say maybe I'm misreading, but I'm more confused at what your problem was with the situation. He seemed to realize she was being too much and literally shoved her off of himself. That seems like the correct thing to do in that situation. Why are you mad at him about it? And she says, I cannot see anything that she says, anything more. She's mad about her giving him attention and took it out on him, basically using him as the outlet. Now, this is a valid reason. Of course, as I said, there might be some, even more profound reasons over there. And one of these reasons can be that she really needs attention because she feels that she doesn't have attention, and actually everything comes from deep within ourselves. Maybe she had these kinds of problems while growing up. Maybe her parents, made her believe that she didn't get enough attention and all that. Like these things can go very deep within, but we will not go and psychoanalyze stuff right now. We will just focus on the situation that we have here. So the problem is that uh, most probably, this guy was really chilled, okay, but he did what he had to do. But the lady here wanted something more, okay. One universal truth that sometimes we don't know, we guys, when I say we don't know, is we guys, but let me tell you, we will be talking about it in the videos to come as well, is that women can be very good, relaxed with you and all that, but all hell will break loose, believe me, if she is your girlfriend and she sees that you pay attention on another woman, or you give something or you do something to the other woman that you don't really do with her, or that you rarely do with her, or that in any case something that you don't really give to her that much. For example, just saying, for example, try that, or maybe don't. If you have a girlfriend and you you don't necessarily give her presents, for example, or you don't necessarily like give her presents in your birthday or something, and you just have like one friend, one female friend, and you just like give her a present. Your girl will go absolutely crazy. And this has to do, if you watched another video here, none of these series, the videos, the other type of videos that I make, that you see my beautiful face over there. Anyway, okay. Um, I'm talking too much here. If you saw another video, this other video, you will know that it is very important for a woman to have a resourceful man, and it's very important for a woman, in order for a woman, biologically speaking, to lock her guy, let's say, namely to engage in a situation, in a relationship, or even more, make a family. She has to make sure that this guy gives his resources to her. If this guy gives resources to other girls as well, this is a subconscious, let's say, red flag for them. And it has to do, as I said, with biology. Women search for good providers, okay, and people that will help them to rise their to have their offsprings grow up. And men usually search for women, many women. If in case of the alpha males, they search for as many women to pass their own DNA to. So, and these women have to have specific criteria usually. Okay, namely, namely appearance. So that's the that's the point here, that if you give her some things, if you give some things, even attention can be one of the one of the most intense and most important ones. If you give attention to another human to another girl, I will say, and you don't really give to your, or if she feels like that, because most probably she just feels like that in that situation. I mean, they're married. I mean, I guess that he really gives her attention, but anyway, I cannot know. If you give attention to other women, this will really make all hell break loose. Of course, you can understand that and handle this accordingly if you're a guy, but I'm just like giving this guy this for you guys so that you can have some food for thought. Anyway, sounds like, let's read some more comments. Anyway, sounds like OP is mad because he continues to associate with his friend despite her advances and the warnings that she has been given for friends, but doesn't want to admit it. Well, could be. I think this is really the crux of it. The situation in and of itself seems innocuous, but if she's like this persistently and he continues to associate with her, sorry guys, then the pushing her away seems kind of performative, and for the sake of OP to okay, so now we have another movement. Let's say that they say that this guy really associates himself with the other chick, which may or not may be true. In any case, what I'm going to say here is that we don't really have any evidence of that, guy, so maybe not. Anyway, while I agree that leaving you waiting for him was disrespectful, I'm not really sure why the rest was made into a big issue. Maybe he was just going to say hi, checking on them, and time got away from here. It happens especially when drunk, so even that wasn't a major issue. Drunk people, blah 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 blah. You leading with what would you do if a guy was hanging all over me like that? Implies he didn't act the right way. It was accusatory when it didn't need to be. That is kind of true, especially if he was genuinely uncomfortable and unsure how to tell her to back off without turning it into a big deal. I'm also unsure what more you wanted him to do. The way you describe it, he wasn't engaging with or encouraging her behavior and gently told her off when she crossed the line. Okay, look, guys, here. We can see people talking about this situation, okay, and I understand, and so on and so forth. The problem is that when you have fights, and when you have fights on a specific issue, just like this, I guess, there seems to be another problem that is over there. So we shouldn't really get, we shouldn't really focus on the exact situation that was unfolded there. We should focus on other things. And when I say that, I mean that if you analyze the situation, what you will see, especially if you see this one, that she actually asked this, what he would do if a guy was hanging all over me, is that she actually doesn't feel that she has all the attention of her guy, of her husband, and she feels that the husband gives attention to other people, namely other women, because I'm pretty sure that if he gave attention to other male friends, she wouldn't really bother that much. She can get more jealous, and this is, I'm pretty sure that we all can understand this very easily. She gets very upset, more easily upset, and maybe jealous of other women, exactly because of what I told you earlier on, that he gives resources to other women. This actually is resources. It is translated into resources, because giving your attention is practically giving, let's say, resources, because this presupposes that you would be able to give, sorry guys, to give the woman resources as well. Okay, and I'm always talking about the biological perspective. Okay, so don't get me wrong here. But the thing is, again, to sum this all up, that the problem is not exactly if he pushed her away or he didn't push her away or how he reacted and all that. We can understand. We can agree that the guy, okay, reacted well. Okay, at least to the context, according to the context that we know that we're being given here. But the problem is deeper than that. And when you see people raging like crazy and getting into fights and all that, and asking questions like this, oh, I don't want to report it. It's okay. I'm sorry. This presupposes that there's something bigger, larger, lurking on, and most probably more profound. So what I understand from all that is that the lady here has some issues of attention. She needs more attention. Okay, and again, it might seem a little bit, oversimplified. It could as well be. And I'm not saying that we know the exact situation, but what I want to say this at the end of the day is, first of all, that fights, usually when they break out, like occasionally, they're not just fights. They're not just usually they're not about the reason that they happen. So here is not the reason. There's always a really large reason. There's always something really larger and more profound going on, and I'm talking about the things that usually are destructive, especially if you realize that you are in a destructive relationship like this, when, okay, you love the other person obviously, but the fights that break out can be destructive. If you want to make things better for you, your girlfriend, your relationship and everything, you have to take some precautions and do some specific things. And this has to do with discussing more and discussing better. Unfortunately, relationships, and we will see that in these videos of mine, but I'm pretty sure that you can see it in the entire society. Relationships are one of the most difficult things for many reasons that we will not really analyze right now, but they need much work. Even if the work seems abundant and sometimes unnecessary or boring or tiring, you really need to do it. You really need to do it. You just You just can't go. This is the stupidest thing, but the thing that usually happens in couples. You cannot just go uncontrollably into fights, um, resulting into nothing. Okay, you have to be relaxed as much as you can. You have to give time to the other person if you see them, like being ready to wreak havoc all around the place. And you have to understand that usually there will be some more profound reasons. And these profound reasons, they could be even traced back to, the first years of a person's life. Okay, now, this is why psychologists are good, and if not absolutely necessary, especially to our society right now. But anyway, that's the point that I want to have to make with this video, guys. There's always something bigger. Not always. Well, usually, if for example you're married and you have a girlfriend, like, oh my God, you have a wife. This is a large video, guys. Bear with me, and I hope that, and I really thank all of you, the people that have reached this point. I love you all, guys. But anyway, let's suppose that you're married and you work and your wife works, and every day, let's say every day you have a person washing the dishes, and one day is her turn and the other day is your turn, and so on and so forth. So she goes back, she comes back, and sees you just watching TV, not doing anything whatsoever with dishes unwashed. And if she starts to if she starts going crazy to you, uh, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's something more profound. But if you see actually her reactions being even worse than what expected, let's say, if she really wreaks a havoc like in the entire place or something, maybe the reasons might be even more profound. For example, she thinks that you're really lazy and always, and it doesn't really have to do with these dishes here. It has to do with your life, for example, that you don't take, the necessary measures to make your life better and stuff like that. Anyway, this situation can be really, really tense and exceptionally um, complicated. So, if we really want to make things better, we have to regard the situation exactly as it is, in a complicated way, and as a complicated, let's say, product, as a complicated fact. Okay, and when you have complicated facts, especially when it has to do with people, and especially here that you have to do with two people, that means that the two people, both of these people, have to look very deeply inside themselves first of all, and then try to resolve the problem and the situation in a, let's say, relaxed and productive way. um, as much relaxed and as much as productive it can be. So, anyways, guys, um, please take these things into consideration. We can all make our relationships better. Okay, have this in mind. We will be going through more Reddit posts here and maybe more things. Just let me know what you think about all this. Again, I really, really, really exceptionally thank you and love all the people that really reached up to this point. Thank you, guys. Please comment, give me your perspective, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me to other videos so that we can all find our better self in slickness and in health. See you guys. Bye bye.